Well, hello there, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to come back around. I just wanted to do a second video because I feel there's a lot to cover. Firstly, I just want to say I feel like there's a lot of misinterpretation on some very simple concepts that I laid out in my last video. And I've done a little bit of digging into some of the analytics, and I've read over all of your comments, and I just wanted to share some more insight with you about things that I feel either, to be completely honest, some people were a little bit too dense to understand, or as Thomas put it in our Facebook group, is that essentially certain people are looking at the words that I had to say through a certain lens that is so damn foggy that they're unable to realize, like factual statements and truths. And I just want to start off just by saying, I love eBay. I got my eBay shirt on. This is one of my favorite shirts to go out sourcing in. I love eBay. I think there's some people who think I do not like eBay. Further from the truth. And this video is going to be entirely off the cuff, and you're going to really like what I've got going on for you. I'll show you right now. Look, I've got it set up so we can go through all the comments and analytics, and that's what we're going to do really quick. And if you're here because you just subscribed and you're like, man, Jay, I really wanted to see your other talking points on other things, those are going to come.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm going to come.
But I want to let you know there is still more things to kind of flush out on this, and we're kind of call this a part 2 on this video. And I've been thinking and waiting and just kind of wanting to see what else was going to come of that video first before making this one. And after seeing just one more stupid comment, I decided, okay, I have to step up, because what's going to end up happening is intelligent people who may either have potential within this field, or people who are, maybe who, I don't know, people who could have success within this field, who are capable and who are able, are going to read some of the really dumb and stupid and ignorant comments and then just not want to be a part of it. So I just wanted to get on here and just kind of sort through the nonsense with you a little bit. Those of you who had nice things to say and who were smart and bright and educated about these topics, I appreciate you so much. And those of you who are dumb about it, we're going to get into it. And I want to be clear too, I invited a handful of you to just come on air and talk with me. Come talk with me about what you thought. And I've been doing this to Democrats on my Facebook timeline, and I'm not calling you Democrats because I would hate to insult you like that, but I've been doing that for Democrats and liberals for the last 2 years, and I'll offer any of them $100, and I got screenshots to prove it, $100 to come on air and talk with me, and just talk with me about your talking points and why you feel the country is going the way it is, and why you think Joe Biden's a great president, and why Trump was such a bad guy. Talk with me. Let's have this discussion. I can't get this discussion anywhere. And even here with this topic, I said, hey, just come fucking talk with me. Come talk with me about this, okay? If you think reselling is a great profession and I'm doing something wrong, I want to hear it. And yes, there was a couple of interesting comments that had come through, and they had a little bit of merit, and we're going to talk about those. I don't want to say everything that came in was trash, but we're going to talk about those. So here, I'm going to show you something really neat, okay? This is the back end. This is what it looks like after a YouTube creator puts up a video. Here, let me raise my chair up a little for you guys. This is what it looks like. And I just want to be clear, I'm looking this direction and I have a camera set up over here. I just don't have space on my desk right now. I got coffee, I got work, I got all kinds of crap going on. Okay, and again, very much so off the cuff. Maybe I'll put some music over this or something. I don't know. This video is doing particularly well. You can't see my mouse on screen. I'm hovering over the views right now. 250 views more than the average. And that's because I've been doing a lot of random pickup videos. I've been doing I tried that whole let's work video, tried to see if that would bite, see if that would appeal to you guys. Did not appeal, and I get that. This video really sparked some attention, and I'm happy for that, because we need to have candid talks about being a reseller. We need to talk about some of the challenges and tribulations that we're going through that a lot of us are experiencing, but some of us are too afraid to talk about because, I don't know, we don't want to express our feelings about things that bring us challenge. Oh, it's hard to explain. The watch time's way up. Subscribers actually up, even though I asked you guys to unsubscribe if you don't like what I had to say, but some of you were smart enough to stick around. And my revenue, holy cow, ding, 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 this guy made $9 off of this video, and that is shocking to me. I did some additional research, which I don't think I'm going to be putting on screen. It shows my CPM. Those of you who are in the know, the CPM is actually really good. So advertisers liked this content. They liked the long format audio discussion, and I asked and I want to say, preface this, I accidentally had mid-roll ads in when I created the video. I did not mean for that. I hate mid-roll ads. Those are ads that show up while you're watching a video. I changed it after the first day. I apologize to anyone who had to sit through those. I do one in the beginning, one at the end, and it's not so I can make money. I want to be super clear on this. I usually don't. It's so that way YouTube will have an incentive to serve the content up. If there's no ads, they won't serve it up, okay? We're going to go ahead and, oh, you know what? Let's take a deeper look into the analytics here, okay? We can see that externally, so through like Facebook and stuff, we can see how many ads views came through, and then we can see the watch time. On average, you guys watch 21% of the video, which I appreciate. It's a long video. 21% is actually a good amount of time. And then we can actually click in, and let's see if we can see, I'm kind of blocking some of my screen. Let's see if we can see some more of the analytics, because it gets really interesting. Traffic source, more. We can actually see where they've come from. We can see the gender of the people that watched it as well. It's really, really neat. I'm trying to remember exactly where I was going to go with this. Oh, what it was, I can't see it on this screen. I don't even know where it was. It was showing me that 300 plus of those views were people that have never watched my channel before. And I think that I just kind of want to start off with that. I think maybe you need a little bit more of an introduction of as far as who I am. I've been a professional reseller for over 10 years, okay, full time. That means this is all I do. And when I say reselling, I don't just mean eBay. Okay, reselling in person, direct to consumer. Now I've added on conventions. I'm a full-time reseller. When I made this video, was speaking directly to what it meant to be a classical reseller sourcing from yard sales, thrift stores, swap meets, buying goods and placing them directly onto eBay. That is a classic reseller methodology. Now, is there ways to improve on that? 100% there's ways to improve on that. Working directly with people. Okay, I saw some comments. People say, well, I've built up a network of people. 100%, that's a great thing to do. That's a little bit more than what somebody who's breaking into the field can do, which is another thing that I was talking on. If you're breaking into the field and you're just barely getting into reselling for the first time, you're not going to have that opportunity to be able to start with a big network. And if you're not actually buying anything because there's no items available, you're not going to be building those contacts. And if reselling has become much easier because anyone can do it on their own now, anyone can use Facebook Marketplace or the like to be able to sell their goods, they're not going to need you anymore. Do you see how all of these things kind of play into each other? The whole thing is, it's not that being a reseller is absolutely impossible. I'm not saying that at all. And if you're making $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 gross, kudos to you. Great. Okay. But I know how hard you're working to make that money. And that's what I'm talking about. You're not cakewalking it. Maybe you have 20 years worth of experience, or you have a previous business that's allowed you to have a strong network. I'm saying if you were to start today, what are your odds of success? And comparatively, how easy is it for you to make $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 now compared to a decade ago? Now, here's the thing. I'm not making low amounts of money. Here, I'm just going to go in and pop up another window. I wasn't even planning on showing this one. Here, let's bring it over. We got the new listing window. Okay, let's go over to overview. This is my real overview. This is a live snapshot. Okay, you can see right here, last 90 days, I'm just under $12,000. Last 31 days, $5,000. Today, $15. Ding, ding, ding. I'm going to be buying a Big Mac with that. But no, the reality is I'm making money doing eBay. Most of us are still making money doing eBay. And the thing is, that's not my only revenue stream. What I'm saying is I have found better ways to make more money not doing eBay right now because of the amount of hours and effort that it takes to do eBay. I'm starting on a whole new venture, a whole new thing where I am looking to generate $3,000 a week working 20 hours a week. Now, doesn't that sound a heck of a lot easier than doing eBay? Now, there was a time and a place where I could work 10 hours a week, 10, and I could make an easy $1,000 a week. And that's all I needed. I wasn't motivated to make much more than that because I enjoyed my free time. So I make money here on eBay and I make my side income now. And what's happening is my side income is getting easier and easier than my primary income. And I'm telling people I am making a transition out because I'm working so many hours to make this amount. To make $12,000, I'm looking at like 40, 50 hours a week sometimes to be able to make that. There's no need for that. And the type of work I'm doing, it's losing its consistency. We talked about all of these points. The thrift stores are getting less goods. People are able to sell their own stuff. The consistency is falling out of the market. Now, can you continue to do reselling? Can you find ways to make it work? 100%. I run competitive ads online, paid ads even, and I have people reach outbound to me to sell me their goods. That's pretty freaking smart, isn't it? I have these really nicely made flyers that have a list of everything that I buy. I give them out at yard sales. I give them out at trade shows. I give them out at flea markets. I give them to people and I say, give one of these to your neighbors. I include them in my packages. Guys, I am breaking the damn mold and I'm doing things that I fucking know you're not doing. But here's the thing. I shouldn't have to do all of those additional things to be able to make the same revenue I made 10 years ago. All I'm saying is it's much harder now. And I am passionate about this subject. I'm not burnt out. Now, that's one of the other comments I got. Somebody said I was burnt out. No, I love reselling. It's my frustration with all of the things that have happened that means that I'm going to have to leave a field that I loved doing. I had so much passion and joy. I started a whole fucking YouTube channel to be able to share my passion and joy with you about reselling and say, this is how easy it is. You can get into it. Guys, I don't want to hear about you not having money to pay your bills or pay your rent or go this place or do this thing. It's so easy to make money. Come make money with me. But those days are gone. And you can't deny that those days are gone. You can't deny that things have changed. So when I go through the comments and I read them and I say, hey, go ahead and tell me what it is. What point do you disagree with me on? I want to know. I want to know. Let's have a back and forth. So we're going to look at some of these comments. Mary Kootner here saying, I've sold on eBay since 96. Currently, I sell part-time, but sometimes I have sold full-time. Over time, I can truly say that eBay has had great times and really bad times. Went through a period that anything you listed started a bidding war. And at times, there were so many fraudulent sellers that eBay wouldn't police that, and it was really hard to make money. I'm knowledgeable about fashion and have stuck to that and glad to stuff the other sellers because I have a great little niche making between $1,500 and $2,000 a month. Working an hour a day listing and packing or 4 or 5 hours at garage sales. I really think you are correct that many sellers are not going to make a full-time living and more doing the things the way they always have. I apologize if I butchered that, guys. I work a regular job too, so this is just extra money for me. And this is one of the things that I see a lot of. And to be crystal clear, if you're doing this as a side hustle, of course it's going to be good for you, because you're making extra money on top of what you're already doing. Any amount of extra money is always going to be good money. If you make, I don't care, you could be selling boxes of toothpicks on the side, and if you make an extra $100 a month, you're like, yeah, I get an extra $100 a month just doing this little thing over here on the side. Any side money is going to sound great when it's on top of a income that satisfies all your needs. When your primary income, you have to work harder and harder to satisfy all your needs. That's where you run into the trouble. That's when you start evaluating your options in life to try and figure out what's best for you. Moving on. Next one here, Daniel. Man, I agree with so much of what you said. I've been saying a lot of these same things to my wife. A couple more things I think are working against us. New people are coming in and has been happening for a while. I would see these young kids scanning toys or movies or video games at every rummage sale, but we had an edge because of how long we have done things. Here, I got to make this bigger. My eyes are not what they used to be, so let's make this bigger. Okay, and I got to move. Can I move this over? I'm not even going to try right now. Okay. Another is we have made a living off old generation who didn't care to learn or weren't computer literate. As the generation dies off, the newer generation knows how to look anything and everything up. I would say 60 to 70% of sales I go to now, I get the dreaded, it sells for this on eBay, and I see that only increasing. That's what I was talking about. Access to information. It's a crazy notion to wrap your head around that every single day that passes, the access to more information than ever before occurs. So like today, we have more access than any day in history to information. And that includes reseller and value information. However, I'm optimistic that in the next few years, we will see a good amount of people drop out for a reason. Like you said, people suck at math and they can only sustain super low margins for so long before they can't afford bills and rent. Two, and that's true. I even saw another comment where somebody's like, no, I know my margins are like 80%. And I'm like, okay, I'll challenge you to that. Come on air with me. We'll run our margins together. Will not accept it. Of course they won't accept it because their margins are wrong. People do not factor in all of their cost. And even when you do factor in all of your cost and you say, okay, this is how much money I made at the end of the month. Okay, let's say you made $2,000. How does that compare to minimum wage? You know, here in California, it's $2,400 a month pre-tax, $2,100 post-tax, $2,200 if you claim 0 or you claim like 3 or whatever on your dependents. Most people aren't making that. And if they are making that, now let's say you're making your $2,200 gross, or $2,400 gross net, $2,400 net. Now let's add on your extra costs, your insurance, your gas, your cost of goods, your eBay fees, your shipping costs. Add on all of that stuff and then ask yourself, am I making that wage? And if you're saying I need to make less than that, and that's another comment that I came across as well. You know, people are like, I really only need to make about $2,000 a month. That's a big difference for me. And I'll tell you why. I don't own a house and I live here in California. And yes, I get it. It would be lovely. And some of you own houses and some of you have dual incomes. That is wildly different. I am speaking as a single male, no kids, non-homeowner in California. Your unique experience will vary. Some of you are doing better, some of you are doing worse, but it's important to understand I have a house payment or a rent payment every single month. I have the highest electric rates anywhere in America. And this isn't like a woe is me, oh boo-hoo, you live in California, you know, it's your own damn fault. And we're going to get to one of those comments, or I'll cover that here right now, but each person's situation is different. Imagine if you had to toss on an extra $1,200 a month or $1,500 a month on top of your expenses. I can't make $2,000 a month. Well, you know, here's the thing. I could probably make $2,000 a month and be fine. But like I said, making enough is not good enough. When you're saving up for a house and you're saving up for a retirement, because I'm saving for a retirement, and you're building a portfolio. Yes, I have a $200,000 plus portfolio right now. And I am 37. My birthday was on the 5th. Okay. I have a strong portfolio, and it's because markets change. And I feel a lot of people are going to get wiped out here soon too. I'm not even going to touch on the reasons why, but I want to make sure that I'm financially secure. So I need to earn $4,000 plus per month. And, you know, that covers my cost of living. That covers my investments. That allows me to put money into savings towards a house, business expansions, business inventory. I'm doing a lot of things. And sure, yes, I hear just go out and buy a house. Yeah, I was ready to. And then COVID hit. I had $125,000 cash to go buy a house in Idaho. And you damn Californians ruined Idaho now. I can't even go to Idaho because houses are 3 times as much out there. Y'all beat me to the punch because you had your equity first and your houses here, and now you've sold them, and now the houses here are like $700,000 a piece. You damn people from LA came up and bought all the houses. So you can be really smart and strategic and plan and prepare, but you cannot cover every eventuality that's going to happen. I couldn't plan for a damn pandemic. So assess, reassess, and then continue and just get back to work. Hard work. I work harder than you. And for the commenters, and I know it sounds like I'm like full of piss and vinegar right now. I know how hard I work, and I know how smart I am in this field. I will challenge anyone who wants to step forward. Here's my $100. I'll give it to you. Let's have a talk about this if you think you know more than I do. And I truly welcome it. And I'll come to you on even footing too. Okay, you pick the time, the place, the stream, however you want to do it. Let's just have a back and forth. I feel that the field, and that's my position, we'll take the debate. I feel the field is drastically changed and no longer welcoming of new resellers in 2022. And I feel that it will take any new reseller at least 6 to 12 months to be able to break minimum wage. And then probably about 2 years to be able to get to a point where they can make more than minimum wage month over month consistently, working 40 hours a week or less. I think that you will have to grind out 60 hours a week plus for a long time to build up the inventory to be able to be successful. And we're not talking RA, We're not talking, hype items. We're talking classical reselling, thrift stores, yard sales, swap meets. Okay. And there is money to be made. You can have your big months. Trust me when I say that. You can have your big months. I need some chapstick, guys. You guys know me, my Burt's Bees. So that's the thing. As I was saying, some of you guys just don't know me. You don't know my work ethic. You don't know my ability to generate revenue. I've had months on eBay where I've broken $40,000 or $50,000. I've had insane revenue with eBay. I know exactly what I'm doing, better than 99.99% of other resellers out there. I know this field like the back of my damn hand. It's easy for me, very easy, but there is easier things that you can do now. That's the key takeaway. The market is pivoting, and all I'm saying, and this is what happened when I saw Pokemon market pivoting. I was giving it financial advice on investing in Pokemon. I made over $150,000 last year in Pokemon products, and I came to you and I said, guys, please look at this. Here's a great investment opportunity. I've studied the market. I've seen the trends. This is what I'm buying. I bought 300 boxes of Vivid Voltage, give or take. I bought them wholesale, $83 a box. I extended the offer to every single person I knew. What did I do with them? I sold them all between $150 and $220 a box within, guess what, 90 days. And then I had all my old Burning Shadows. I made over $150,000 in just under 6 months on Pokemon products alone. And the moment I saw the market starting to shift, before I went on vacation, I recorded a video and I said, guys, something's happening. The market is shifting. And I feel like I owe everyone who watched my previous video the knowledge that the market is shifting. So that's why I'm here. And guess what? Go back, look at the charts. The exact week that my video came out was the last week that we saw peak prices for Pokemon products. They immediately fell down after that, and they've only been going down further since. And we're talking 2012, 13 era to modern. And now we're seeing a mass printing run. That's a whole nother video topic. But I'm coming to you again. I said, hey guys, the market is shifting or has shifted. And as a service to those of you who have been watching me for years, which some of you have, and thank you for that, I'm just saying the market's shifting, and I am going to be scooting into new fields and making more money doing other things. Now, does that mean I'm never going to step into a thrift store again or go to a yard sale or a swap? No, of course I am. But I'm not going to spend 40 hours a week doing it. I'll spend, it'll be my part-time gig where I'll do it maybe 5 or 10 hours a week. And you know what it'll be like? It'll be like riding a bike again for fun instead of riding it for work. Riding it to the park to enjoy the views versus going up and down the interstate to be able to get to my 8 to faint job. It's going to be different. And I'm doing due diligence by telling you I think that the market has shifted. That's all it is. That's all it is. I don't give a shit. Go keep reselling. Keep doing what you do. That's fine by me. It's your money. It's your time. Doesn't change my life one bit. I hope you succeed. And the thing is, if you love reselling, I hope I'm wrong. And it's okay for me to be wrong. But tell me why I'm wrong. I have plenty of people telling me why I'm right. I don't have anyone telling me why I'm wrong. And you're going to see some of the negative comments here in a second. New sellers. Let me get this on screen for you guys. We're at number 2. I can't even show you. It's just to the left of my eyeglass. I can't get a cursor on screen. Oh, I can highlight it. Here we are. Okay, we're right here. New sellers are even older sellers who never made more than 20K are about to get a hard lesson in how much the government sucks and the giant tax bills, which deter quite a few people. Yes, taxes are coming for you. And if you've never had to pay because you've always kept it under 20 grand, yeah, that's going to be a reality coming your way. Basic economic principles will come into play when too many people are selling the same goods without a massive spike in demand. There's nowhere for prices to go but down. Many will leave, and only those who can weather the downturn will be around after. Yeah, that's something I didn't really touch on too much. I did mention the race to the bottom, but there's going to be a hell of a lot of goods that there's just going to be no demand for. And I mean, we see that already. I mean, there's probably somewhere in the area of about 10 billion items that just don't sell on eBay every single month. I mean, look in your warehouse right now. Sort your inventory by oldest inventory. Here, we'll do that right now. Screw it, I'll show you. We'll go active listings. Those of you who don't know, let's see how much inventory I got active. I've got $117,000 worth of inventory active right now. Give it a second to load. It's all that money it's got to churn through. Okay, so we're going to sort by start date. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Some of these items, they just camp around online for the longest time. And yeah, don't get me wrong, some of them are shit. Some of them are items that, I missed my opportunity to sell. This top one up here, this Game Boy player, I missed a chance to sell this for 75 bucks. I had it listed for 150, and I've just been reducing. I can't get a sale on it. This one's out of stock. You just saw me sell this one the other day, but here's the proof in the pudding. It was online for 6 years, 7 months. This top one's been up there for 7 years. I know some of you are like, oh, just blitz it out, blow it out, delist it. I paid money for it, and there's still room for profits on it, even after this amount of time. I'm just telling you, look at this, 6 years, 6 years, 6 years, 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, and we'll scroll over. We'll look at the items. There's good items here. 3 years, all the way down to the bottom. We're looking at 2 years on these last ones. So we got vinyls. We got high-end art books. We got really nice shoes. These have been marked down several times. They were, when you buy shoes and they're $120, consistently selling at $120, and you go $115, $110, $100, $95, $90, and you can't help it when hundreds of other pairs are getting listed, and then yours just gets squeezed out. Okay, high-end glassware. These 3M jackets right here. This one right here, and this one. These aren't even visible to customers. You know why? It's because it says 3M in the title, and then we had the whole COVID situation, and then all my 3M items got shadow banned because I got swept up in that whole don't sell sanitizer situation that occurred. Android figures, vintage art kits, 6 or 7 of these, and I still have a dozen of them left. What am I going to do with the last dozen? It's not like they don't sell. It's just I haven't sold one in, God knows, maybe a year. Backpacks, good backpack too, $15 backpack. We got a really nice hand puppet. Replacement board game pieces. This is the weirdest one. I don't know why this thing won't sell. I've had this for years. This is a great piece. Look how nice this is. This is a This is one of my favorite pieces that hasn't sold. This is a tobacco punch board. It's an old gambling game you used to see in liquor stores, and you would pay 25 cents, and you'd have this little puncher, and I even have the puncher. It's back here in the back, and you would stab a hole. See the puncher's in there? You would stab a hole through the front of it. And if you poked it in and there was a piece of paper in there, you'd pull it out and it would tell you what you've won. So you could pay a quarter, you could get 80 to 5,000 cigarettes. 5,000 cigarettes. I don't know what that is. A couple of cartons of cigarettes for a quarter. And this used to hang around liquor stores. And this is old like Tobacciana. This is man cave type items. And I have all the keywords. I have great photos. There's 0 punches out of it. Okay, somebody should have bought this thing already. But what can you do? What can you do? What do you do? What do you do? I'm going to continue to mark it down until it sells. But I would like to get the correct price for it. So yeah, you have more inventory coming to the market, and that's going to happen. And this is the type of back and forth I'd love to have with somebody. So I'm not talking myself thirsty over here. My hair, I just woke up, guys. Here we go. Where are we at? We'll just say we're here. I'm lucky that the math has always been my strong suit. My spreadsheets are airtight. My annual profit loss report look like corporate balance sheets. And I have a wife who has an incredible eye for things I would never look at it, eye for things I would never look at. And I've had partners as well who will pick something up and you wouldn't have given it a second thought, and it turns out to be worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. It's a very, very interesting experience. If you have an opportunity to go reselling with extra eyes, even if they're amateurs, they might know Disney, they might know glassware, they might know something that you know nothing about. I've had women pick up clothing items, and they're like, "Oh no, this is not a cheap brand," and I had no idea. And then I end up buying the damn thing, making good money on it, which gives us a much more diverse base of possible inventory to source. But overall, I agree with you that that things are changing drastically, and many people will fail or just decide $20 at Target is worth more than the risk of reselling. And that's really it. Thanked him for his comment. Interesting that a lot of issues, this is by Pyro Know-It-All, interesting that a lot of issues you touched on have to deal with your current location, which Most businesses will change if it becomes a problem for their bottom line. There's a reason a lot of companies are jumping off California bandwagon and moving to other states. Taxes, shipping, logistics, real estate prices, laws, restrictions, gas price, goods prices, population density, and a host of other things you mentioned can literally be solved with a simple move. And now we have some comments going back and forth here where he says that the news is lying to you, that there's plenty of houses. And I said, okay, I'll read it out to you. He said, let's ignore the news telling you there is one. Because I said, let's ignore the current housing crisis. There is a housing crisis, guys. We have the lowest population of available houses ever. Maybe about a month and a half ago. Things are starting to loosen up a little bit, but we also have the highest prices that we've ever seen on houses ever. And he said, let's ignore the news telling you there is one. Plenty of houses outside the overpopularized, urbanized cities that are causing large amounts of your issues. Plus, California money goes a lot further in other places, even if it's more urban. Yes, California money does go further if you're generating California levels of money outside of California. So if you're making $4,000 a month here as a reseller because you have that access to that high quality or level of goods, there's no guarantee that you're going to have access to that level of goods in another place. I've made this fundamental mistake before with other moves. No two markets are the same. If you're going to go to a new market, you have to evaluate the market. So let's say I do want to go to Idaho and I do want to continue being a reseller out there. I have to travel to Idaho not once, not twice, but 3 times. That's how I selected the town I'm in right now, Bakersfield. Because you go out there, you go to all the thrift stores, you go to all the swap meets, and you find tons of great stuff. Well, you go back a month later, and guess what? You might not find as much stuff because the stuff you bought the first time was stuff that's been on the shelf for months, and because you have your eagle eye, you're able to pick it out. So you go back a second time. You log everything. And when I went to Bakersfield the first time, I had charts and graphs and logs, and I kept track of what I spent, what I bought, my expected returns, everything. So you go back a second time after a month. And you wait 2, maybe 3 more months, and then you go back again and you try it again. If you just think that you can just pick any town and be a successful reseller in it, you're out of your damn mind. What if there's already hyper-competitive resellers in that town? I have a former friend from out in Tennessee, and she would tell me about her rival resellers in her town who were persistently waiting at a specific location where goods were getting donated out, and they would just sit in their car all day and wait for the items to show up. And she used to go to that location and pull out hundreds of dollars worth of, I don't even want to say what type of inventory it was, but hundreds of dollars worth of inventory like every other day. She would just stop by there on her way home. And then she realized somebody was pulling out all of the stuff now. Somebody else was just sitting out there all day and beating her to it because they could make a couple $100s a day just sitting there and waiting. So towns can get decimated by hyper-competitive resellers in your area. The guy who's willing to put in the 60-hour-a-week work week. I've even seen it with competitors in Fresno. And I even see it here. There's a guy named Howard in my town. And he hits everything, every single thrift store, every single day. He has the time for it. Every single thrift store, every single day. And I showed up at 1, and he was sitting there waiting at the back door. He's like, oh yeah, it's 4:30. This is when they bring out all the carts. And he's there every day at 4:30. And he waits for the carts to roll out. And he gets first dibs on everything. What do you do then? So you go back a second time, and you go back a third time. And then you have to hope that all 3 times are good, and that you actually want to live in the town. And then you have to find a way that you're actually going to be able to find housing in that town. And let's pretend that there is no housing crisis. Let's say there is houses available, and you find a place to rent or you find a place to buy, and you go through that whole inspection. You're going states away. Now you hire a moving company, and then you actually get out there. Your cost, $15,000, honestly, with the moving company, because you got your inventory. You're not going to want to move it all on your own. Okay, pay somebody else to do it. Your down payments, your first month, your utilities, getting everything hooked up, your transferring of your registration, new IDs, all that crap. Missed work. Your cost is going to be minimum 10, probably 15. If you want to play it safe, you got a fridge you got to refill. You got all this crap you got to do. There's no such thing as a simple move. I've moved like 10 or 15 times now. There's no such thing as a simple move. And the idea of moving states and states away, you're out of your mind. Okay? It's not that easy. And here's the other factor that plays into it too. Sure, it's a lot easier if you have a house that you're selling already. If you're selling a house in California and you're getting $600,000 worth of equity and you're moving to a town where your houses are $200,000, sure. And then let me even add on to that. Okay, if you're going into a town that has cheap houses that isn't urbanized, where the hell's your inventory at? Where are you going for inventory? For resellers to be truly successful, they need to live in a town with at least 500,000 people. And I use that as a metric because that's going to mean that there's going to be at least a handful of thrift stores and opportunities to be able to source direct from consumer in your areas, yard sales, swap meets, and the like. If you're not doing that, then I don't know what the hell you're doing, unless you're just one of those people that owns a home and only needs to make $1,500 a month and your wife works full-time as a registered nurse. Because the math ain't adding up, and there's no such thing as a simple move. If you're going to leave one of these comments, it's just going to say, oh, your problem is you live in California. Okay, well, are you telling me then, okay, are we saying concretely then, is that the matter of a fact that resellers can't be successful in California then? That only the other 49 states you can be successful as a reseller. What about people in Hawaii? What about people in Alaska? Is there just states that are going to be excluded from being successful? Because if that's the truth, then we should tell those people in those states that they should stop reselling as well, because those are the people who need the help the most, right? But even that doesn't make sense because I've been doing this for over a fucking decade here. This is what I'm talking about. Come talk with me, guys. We got MNJ Treasures. If there's a will, there's a way. In my opinion, the fun you keep talking about, for me, manifest in my schedule. I work Monday through Friday. I put in 7 days of work in 5 days. Getting inventory depends on your drive. To me, it sounds like you're just burnt out. Good luck in wherever life takes you. Peace. And I said, I think I may have misconstrued a point in my video. I'm going to elaborate it on in my next. And that's what I'm here talking about. I kind of mentioned it earlier. Do I have burnout? Do I have burnout? Maybe a little. Maybe a little. And I think that's a byproduct of just working a lot more. And I think that, yeah, I probably am a little bit burnt out. I probably don't take enough breaks and do enough for me. And I'll be frank, I think part of it's just the byproduct of the last breakup. I think it's almost a natural response to start burying yourself into like work and hobbies, which is what I've been doing a lot of after a breakup. And revenue's been high. And for me, a big part of it was like, I want to build up a strong empire for, future traditional wife that'll come down the line, which I still believe in. But I do enjoy a lot of what I do. It's just the frustrations that are coming from not being able to do them the way that I've loved doing them historically. And I don't know if there's many great analogies to other businesses. Let's say trucking, for instance. Okay, a lot of people who are in the trucking industry say trucking has changed drastically and essentially is not what it used to be, in the sense that, you now have to keep, super accurate logs. You have to deal with like weigh-in issues. You can't work. A lot of truckers used to enjoy working, 60 to 70 plus hours per week, 80 hours, 90 hours, and now there's restrictions on the number of hours that they can work. And then they have these new vehicles that, that really lock them down on what they can and can't do as well. Truckers don't enjoy trucking as much anymore. Some of them are still doing it though, because guess what? That's how they have to make their money, and they make less money for the same amount of time. Are they burnt out? Well, at some point, yes, but I think they just also miss the work that they used to do, the way that they used to do it, because the way they did it before brought them joy, and it's why they came into the field. And I don't feel like it's so much of a bait and switch. I just feel like it's a culmination of things over time that have really changed this market. Wow, we're up to 40 minutes. And I want to thank those of you who watched the whole damn 2 hours. I was blown away by the number of you that actually sat through that. I thought that this was going to be another 2-hour video I was going to toss online, and people were going to watch 10 minutes and then turn it off. So it was sweet of you guys to watch it. Rob something. So basically the market is changing. You are unwilling to adapt or unable to adapt to the current market conditions. There's still a ton of opportunity out there for those willing to put in the effort. I average $12K on eBay and $15K on Amazon every month, gross. I haven't stepped foot in a thrift store in years, nor have I gone to a single yard sale this summer, and still sourcing a ton of product. So you saying that just like right off the rip means that you didn't listen to anything that I had to say. Because again, I'm talking to thrift store sellers, I'm talking to yard sale sellers, we're talking about traditional reselling. This is also a part-time gig for me. I have a 6-figure career as well. Okay, cool. Again, not talking to you. The people who are part-timers, cool, good for you. Make that extra side income. We're talking to full-time classical resellers. But here's the thing, even part-timers, you're being affected by this. You're not being affected by it as much because guess what? It's not as important to your income as somebody who's doing it full-time. Just ratio-wise, it's not going to impact you the same way. which I guess is somehow unfair per your comments on that. My family would disagree on that point. Of course your family would. As the herd thins in the reseller space, that's just going to be an even bigger opportunity for those that are flexible and adaptable. Quitters are going to quit, and there's no such thing as fair in business. You get out of it what you put in. Okay. A lot to unpack here. A lot of how do I phrase this? I guess missing the mark. Okay. So why can somebody who's making a six-figure income not resell in their part-time? And I even got commentary from the person that I wasn't trying to be I wasn't trying to be mean, but they definitely took it as a pointed statement. And to you, I apologize if you took it offensively when I said it. That was not at all the goal, or not even offensive. Maybe you weren't offended. Maybe it just rubbed you wrong. Okay. The reason I mentioned it is because I feel like it creates an additional barrier to brand new resellers. Are you entitled to the money? Are you entitled to the inventory? 100%, of course. Anyone who wants to put in the work is entitled to get that inventory and get that money. Sure. But when you're buying up $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 items from a thrift store, you're making it harder for the new person who's coming into the field to be successful. You're creating a barrier to entry for that new person by eliminating items that they could use to be able to go out and resell. Again, you're entitled to it just as much as they are. All I am arguing is that it makes it harder for a new person to start. Now, you can say that's an unintended consequence. Sure, that's just like a byproduct of what you're doing. But I kind of disagree with it. That's just the way it is. When I'm breaking $100,000 doing my new venture, if I get to there, which I'm very hopeful that I do, I'm not going to be going to thrift stores anymore and scooping up $20 items or $25 items. I might go look for some of the bigger ones. And sure, yes, taking big items is going to take away that opportunity in the same fashion. Sure, I get it. Okay, but I don't need to strip the shelves of everything. I can leave stuff. I can pick up one or two items and leave all the small things. But I get both sides of it. I really do. But that's just my personal opinion. These videos are full of my opinions that if you make $100,000 a year in a day job, that gives you, benefits and sick pay and retirement and all of these things come in your direction, that maybe, just maybe, leave some of the other, stuff for those of us who may not have had the ability to go to college or may not have had the fortuitous nature to be provided with certain things earlier in life. Like I didn't start out with a car. I had to resell to earn my first car. I didn't start out with a house. Some people who are in that, who have had that opportunity to be making $100,000 a year have had some of these head starts. Some of us need or have utilized or facilitated our success on the back of being able to go to thrift stores and buy low-cost goods. So just consider the impact that your actions may have. Again, I'm not saying you can't do it, but just consider the ramifications or the byproducts of your actions. My family would disagree with you on that point. Well, I hope that maybe you can consider my points. Your family, who is directly benefiting from you generating more money, is going to be supportive of you generating more money, regardless of who it may impact along the way. Look at the people over at Tom's Shoes. Those little chintzy looking shoes with the little fabric designs. They're all folded up. They look cheap, cheap-ish. They're supposed to be like a really basic shoe. You buy a pair of shoes and then they give a pair of shoes to somebody in Africa. It's like, it sounds so great. It sounds like such a noble cause. We're going to help the kids in Africa have shoes because that's like one of the number one reasons that kids are struggling out there in Africa, because they don't have the right size shoes and, getting infections through their feet and yada, yada, yada. It screwed up a lot of the economy out there. It ruined the jobs for cobblers. It ruined some of the textile industries as well, because people didn't need the fabrics and the goods out there anymore. Screwed up the rubbers industry. It had a lot of unintended consequences. Look at the rice aid that we're providing to Africa as well. That destroyed a lot of, and forever, the farmlands that were generating their own rice out there. Sometimes there's just unintended consequences. And again, this is just my hot take, but that's what you're here for, right? Quitters are going to be quitters, and there's no such thing as fair business or fair in business. I'm not a quitter. I'm making a strategic move to something that's going to be more viable for me. So here's the thing. You're doing RA, okay, or you're doing some type of something. You're buying goods wholesale and you're flipping them online. 12 and 15K gross every month. You're doing probably over $300,000 or $400,000 a year in sales. Tell me your margins. Tell me your margins. Tell me how much you're making. I know people who did $1 million last year who walked away with less than $100,000. And I know that sounds preposterous. I've seen it. I've seen it more than once. Okay, and don't get me wrong, making $80,000 a year profit is great. 80 grand in your pocket, fantastic. But that's not $1 million worth of sales. So I'm curious what your margins are. I'm curious what type of items you're working with. He says, I buy from online auctions, no pallets, no RA. I do source some new products wholesale for Amazon, but that is about half my sales. All product is delivered to my house with the exception of Amazon wholesale, which I have sent to a prep center. Overall margins, on average, 40%. That is still reselling. Okay, and he says it's not traditional reselling. That's just another excuse moving on your goalpost. No, it's not. It's a different type of fucking category, okay? There's two different ways or two different fields. You cannot conflate the two because people aren't going to start out buying, these pallets that run $6,000 or $8,000. You don't start there. If you have that kind of money to start there, guess what? There's better ventures for you out there than that. Additionally, I'll challenge your 40% average. I guarantee you're not making 40%, and especially if you're dealing in pallets. Oh, he says no pallets, excuse me. He buys from online auction. There's a lot of goods you got to be tossing in the can as well. But come on air with me. I think I gave you the invite somewhere in here. Come on air with me. We're just going to keep on scrolling. You guys can go to the comments anytime and read these. Big Score Depot. I really hope resellers don't, I love this. I really hope resellers don't listen to this and decide to leave reselling as well. All your points apply to pretty much any job, not just reselling. If you're self-employed, you work for a corp, rolling up your sleeves and making it work is the name of the game. Change brings opportunity. Yes, prices are going up, but it's not just for resellers. And I did give that the downvote. And I said, amazing that you watched the entire 30-minute video after I uploaded it. Or in the entire video 30 minutes after I uploaded. He left this comment 30 minutes after I uploaded it in a almost 2-hour long video. And that's all I need to know. And I said, absolutely amazing how you watched it. I even clearly stated I don't want people arguing against single points in the video. It's a culmination of all the reasons as to why the market is not what it is a decade ago. If you took the time to listen to the entirety of my discussion, you will hear a dozen solid things that impact resellers directly, not just all gig work. And I talked about it later. Oh my God, I swear some of these people, it's like, how do you do this? How do you watch 10, 15 minutes of a video and then just give your all-encompassing opinion on it? This guy left comments a few times. And I said, we got a new comment here. He even edited it. Okay, let's see if we can find his other one first, because this is the first one he left. Oh, no. Did he edit his comment? I guess he left comments, two separate comments 2 days ago. So we'll start with the first one that I saw. It said, if you're open to taking advice from sellers in any way of experiment, the only thing I think wrong with your listing is the convoluted description in terms that scare away potential buyers. Imagine having to try and read all that gobbledygook on a cell phone. Yes. I disagree with a lot of the stuff and the exaggeration that you said in this video, but to each their own. We all wish you the best in your future endeavors. I, for one, hardly work, and I easily gross $3,000 to $4,000 a month with about a 60% overall net profit, maybe actually more, with an average of $20 gross price. It is great that you sell successfully at other venues. And I said, I'd love to challenge your numbers. The lack of precision I see often, and sit down and help people realize the margins aren't that good and you are working more than you realize. I agree with the description. It's there to cover my ass, to be honest. eBay, you have to put in a description. You have to put in one that states your policies, explains things to people. I've gotten way too many cases in the past, and to be frank, I'm not going to go through and correct 1,600 listings at this point, because a lot of my listings have like a little blurb at the top that explains this item, and I could edit it in bulk. I could clean it up, but I don't think that's the thing that's dissuading buyers. I do think it's long, sure, very verbose, but it's to cover my ass. And if I lose a few sales here and there, that's fine. But most consumers are buying based on price. And, I think I'm losing more sales based on not having the lowest price because I haven't taken the time to revise prices. But I'm rolling things down slowly, and I have seen sales start to increase ever since I started my last sale. But I've tried to hold tight on pricing because I feel that reducing your inventory costs 10% when you have $120,000 worth of goods is basically taking $12,000 off the top. And if I don't need cash right now, if I'm not cash poor, there's really not a whole lot of reason to, but that's a discussion for another video. I said, but I do still sell based on photos and pricing alone. Would be happy to have a back and forth with you if you want to lay out a specific point you disagree with. I said, not a chance. I've been selling on eBay since 1998. Myself, I eBayed for a large company and brought them about $1,000 in monthly sales with an average of $25,000 per month in sales. That means nothing related to this topic. Anyone can sell for another company. I've been to a bunch of eBay conventions. I even did that eBay certification class. Really wasn't any good. I agree with you on that. I helped others, or at least tried to, with analyzing their stores. Some were beyond help. And I realized that everyone has a different ideas that stick to and won't change, or at the minimum, experiment with change. Yeah, people are stuck in their ways. I've evaluated probably 40 plus stores at this point, and I do free store evaluations all the time. I see a lot of the same mistakes over and over. Bad photos, bad titles, incorrect pricing strategies. I see the whole lot of it. It's all over the place. And yeah. And I said, join me on air sometime. Cheers. But yeah, your ability to sell for another company doesn't change a damn thing, because anyone can sell a company's new inventory. You put me down in any company here in America and give me your inventory, and I'll take photographs of it, and if it's the cheapest available online, it's going to sell. I could sell $100,000 worth of goods for any company if they have enough of it and the price is right and the demand from the consumers is there. But I do want to challenge your margins. I don't think you're making 70%. I don't even know how the hell that's possible. So that means your cost of goods has to be like 5% of the total value of the goods. So if your average gross is $20, if you're grossing $20 per item, that means your average cost of goods is somewhere in the area of what, like $2 for a $30 sale on average? I don't know. Let's have a talk if you want. And this was 2 days ago, and then I responded 3 hours ago. I haven't even read his last comment. I would rather listen to all the resellers, including myself, that are making money on eBay and not so depressing to listen to. Every business, restaurant, retail stores, etc., all those things have done well, do lousy, or just survive. It is normal. Let me read that again, because I'm just hammering through because it's just ignorant. Every business, restaurants, retail stores, I don't know why these are plural, etc., all have those who do well, do lousy, or just survive. It is normal for any business category. Sure. Okay. Yes. Some restaurants succeed and some fail. Some businesses succeed and some fail. Some retail stores succeed and some fail. There's factors and variables for specific, let's say restaurants, for instance, succeeding and failing. Is the food good? Okay. Is the pricing correct? Are you able to maintain your staff? Is your location good? Is your advertising and marketing good? All of these different things can affect your ability to succeed. There's a list of things that affect your ability to succeed. You know what I did a week ago? I provided you with a list of things that impact all resellers, all of them. Some of them, yes, were specific to California. Some of them, yes, were specific to my local sourcing area. But I gave you fucking 15 reasons. And I'm like, here. And the reality is if what I have to say is depressing, it's because it's real. And it's real to you, and you have to hear it, and it's impacting you because you understand there's some truth behind it. It's not me just whining for 2 hours. These are real things that are happening to resellers. They're truly happening, and you have to be aware of them. I don't care if you decide to ride this, ship until it hits the damn iceberg. That's on you. Kudos to you for having the stick-to-itiveness, holding that stock and carrying that bag and hoping that things turn around. That's fine. Do as you do. But you can't disagree with the points that I've made in my video. I said, welcome back again. Want to mention some specific points where I am wrong. Give me a point. Don't just say all points. I make money, currently $12K in 90 days on site and another $10K off site. And I showed you the numbers, and I can show you my convention stats and everything like that. You have yet to say anything of value on a specific point. If reality is depressing, you should do like I do and find a new field. And this first time reading this response, 31 minutes ago, edited, and said, nope, you are too smart for the likes of little old me. If you are doing 12K in 90 days on eBay and complaining that eBay sucks and you are quitting, me not sure what you are saying. I am very happy with my sales and techniques and always am open to learning more from other sellers that are not quitting eBay. I really am doing those numbers, and I have a heck of a lot to teach. And I've never met you before. You've never messaged me. You've never visited my website. I have tons of resources available. We have a community group. Like, look at, you can join our little facebook.com/groups/Bolorama. Never seen you there. There's tons of resources for you. But if you want to pick individual points, sure. And I never said that I'm quitting eBay. Those are not words that I put out there. I'm not quitting eBay. Okay, I love eBay. eBay's been great to me. I'm going to eBay Open in like, what is it, a week away from now or something? eBay Open down in LA. I'm going to go. And, I want to see what's new. Maybe there's something that's going to change it. But pick a point. Pick a point and talk with me about it. Let's have an educated back and forth. Okay, I'm impressed with your speaking gift. Best wishes in your new ventures. Thank you. I've only got I got through a third of the videos so far, but that does not mean you will quit YouTube. No, I'm staying. Finish the video. Thank you. We had a little back and forth about reporting guidelines for Zelle. It will impact all of you. But yeah, that's the comments that I have here on YouTube. And we have some over on Facebook. This is our Facebook page, Bolorama. Facebook.com/groups. I think I got the URL right. Here, let me just double check. Okay, cool. I got the URL right. So I posted the video up to here as well. I just wanted to make sure that it got some eyes on it. And there were some cool comments in here. There's a couple of ones that are long. If you haven't joined our group yet, we put up all kinds of different topics and things. And we talk about like reseller issues. We talk about PayPal. They just recently made it so that way if you have a business account, you can no longer do friends and family with that. That might be something good to know. You might have missed that. Some people post up some funny videos. People will post up questions asking for help. This group is completely free to be a part of. We have 3 admins now, so we can help get you in. This will continue to be a resource for resellers moving on indefinitely. We will not be closing the group, and I have no intention on selling the group or the IP. I've been offered money for my website. I'm not going to be selling it. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. I can't think of anyone that would be able to, run it the way that I would want it to be run. But yeah, we post up all kinds of stuff. So I posted up the video and there was some comments here, and I don't remember which one I wanted to touch on. I do want to button this up because I'm getting a little bit tired of speaking. We got 27 comments. We're not going to go through them all today. Daniel Green, that was before he watched it. Okay. After he watched it, he said, "Man, I agree with so much of what you said. I've been saying a lot of these same things to my wife. A couple more things. Things I think are working against us are new people coming in, and it's been happening for a while. I would see young kids scanning toys." Okay, he copy-pasted his comment over. That's right. We covered a lot of that. And he mentioned Google Images in there as well. Google Images has drastically reduced the barrier for, I guess, intelligence. You don't have to be as smart as you used to be, and your like decade or 2 decades worth of experience doesn't really help you out much at all against your competitors, in the sense that anyone can snap a picture of it, find a comparable online, and then be able to figure out what the item is worth. So your expertise doesn't carry the same weight that it used to carry. They don't need you as much, which means it's going to reduce your amount of, it's going to reduce your opportunities to be like that expert that somebody works with to be able to get their items sold. It also has a reduction for consigners as well. Thomas Fusco, he left a very verbose comment, and I will not read it all for you right now, but I strongly recommend you go and actually read what he wrote out here. Very positive, very supportive, very, very smart person, and seasoned within this industry and many others. And I would just recommend going and reading what he wrote. There's a lot here, and it's very supportive, very motivational. And then I think this is going to be the last comment I'm going to button up with here right now. This is Missy Baker, and Thomas has a great rebut to this, and I'm going to kind of use some of his words and some of my words. He said, "I watched the entire video and I've been thinking on it for a couple of days. This will sound harsh, and some probably is, but some is just truth. Dude, you are so burnt out and you don't even know it. You're too close and can't see anything good. Get the hell out of California if you want your life to be any better. California is a hellhole, and there are 49 other states. California is it's shit, yes, but 2 counterpoints to it. Okay, one, I am not a fan of really smart, bright, and capable individuals immigrating from countries to America. And I'm not saying like we should take the worst of other countries, but those people should stay and make that area better. Because if they don't, that area is never going to get better. And the idea that I should leave California because, it's too hard, I don't know. I wanted to leave because I wanted to have like a happier life. It didn't have anything to do with it had zero to do with finances. Like the money here in California is insane. Anytime I want, I can crank it up to 11 and I can bring out $20, $30, $40,000 in a single month. I don't want to work 80 hours a week though, and I don't want to, pull all my resources for no reason. But you can make really good money here in this state. And I think in levels that you just simply can't in other ways. The new venture I'm getting into too really has benefits here in California. There's a lot of opportunity for me to really truly scale what I'm doing, specifically here in California. And also, again, that's the same point. Does that mean that every person who's a reseller in California is going to fail or is currently failing? I think all resellers are slowly failing. We're all going to slowly make less money over time, and that's just the nature of the industry. I thought that pillow was upside down this whole time. So yeah, it's going to be, yeah, it's not just a California issue, it's a nationwide issue, and California just being kind of shit makes being a reseller just a little bit more shit. But again, I'm making great money still. It's not as easy as it used to be. And again, there's a lot of points I made. The next one, it says, you speak about no one listening to what you have to say, but you don't listen to what anyone else has to say either. You will never be the smartest person out there. There's always somebody smarter than you, and the world be open to learning from others. And I was. A lot of the other videos are really shit. Just really shit. And I don't want to like call out specific people, but I can't deal with bad video quality. I can't deal with really bad audio quality. I can't deal with hucksters. If you're selling a really shit course, if you're selling, and you know who I'm talking about here when I say this, if you're selling buy list, okay, like go out and buy this thing, here's a list of the top 100 board games, the top 100 books, you're such a fucking huckster.
Thing could be flipped. How do you think I figured out mug life? I was like, I see a lot of mugs at garage sales. Do mugs sell for anything? Search on eBay mugs, completed items, sold, sort by fucking price. Holy shit, there's $88 mugs, there's $63 mugs, there's $96 mugs. Then go, buy a bunch of mugs for a quarter, come home, look them up, educate. The key to flip life is the homework you do during the week that you fucking then leverage on Saturday when you kill it with your fucking knowledge. Where do I start? What do you mean, with eBay, completed items? Fucking, I'm gonna
a course on how to resell books? No one needs that. A 20-minute sit-down can tell you everything you need about selling books. You people selling your little 3-day for $500 or your, $5,000 to learn how to do RA. And I get these people coming to me and they're like, I just completed this course, but I still need help. It's like, get the fuck out of here, okay? You're paying money to somebody else and then you're coming to me to try and get that help, okay? I'm not, and then there's only one person out there that I can think of that's actually like truly smart. Of all the resellers that I've seen on YouTube, and don't get me wrong, there's some entertaining ones, there's some funny ones, okay? But the smartest person I've seen, who only on the basis of knowledge of inventory, is Auction Professor. His encyclopedia of inventory is amazing, the amount of things he knows. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean I think he's smart about platforms. That doesn't necessarily mean I think he's smart about reselling strategy, pricing strategy, anything like that. I don't know anything. I just know that his encyclopedia is impressive. But most of the people doing YouTube are doing it for the revenue. You saw I got a video with 400 views that made me $10. Now think about the person who had 4,000 making 100. Think about the person who had 40,000 views making 1,000. The person who made 400,000 views making 100,000, or 10,000, 10,000, and the person who got 4 million making 100,000. Now think about your favorite reseller who's making videos once, twice, 3, 4 times, 5 times a week, and getting those types of views. And let's say they're running mid-roll ads. That's a lot of money. A whole heck of a lot of money. Are they there because they have some intrinsic ability to teach you things about reselling you don't know? Or are they entertainers and they're keeping you there and they're talking about reselling here and there, but not really providing anything of significant value to you? Just my hot take. Okay. And people don't listen to me because I'm not speaking influentially enough. That's all there is to it. I can't pitch that way. I was trained to be a classical salesman. I'm going to sell you on the value of what it is that I can offer you. I am not going to sensationalize and pitch you. I'm not going to sell you the sizzle and not the steak. I'm here with a delicious grade A Angus steak. Here it is. I'm not going to put it on the fajita platter and throw the fucking sizzle on it and walk it out to you and get you all excited about it. No. I know what I'm doing about reselling. If you trust in me and you trust in what I'm saying, come join me. If you're not, I don't care. Go sink in the ship. It doesn't matter to me. I just wanted to help people. That's all I wanted to do. But I've come to learn you can't force help onto people who don't want it. When you spoke about the lady not wanting your stuff on her table, where have you been? A total stranger, a man at that offering her unsolicited advice? You know what that gets us? A quick trip to the back of Ted Bundy's Volkswagen. If you don't know me, I'm not talking to you beyond hello and want to buy the item. You can't expect someone to fall all over themselves for your advice when there is no relationship behind the info. I didn't want to call this person out. I've known her for probably going on 2 years now. She's a lovely girl. Okay. She's just not very sharp when it comes to life and business. And I mean that with so much love. Not everyone gets it, and some people get it less than others. My booth was right next to her. We go back 2 years. Her table was already covered in trading cards. My cards would have been a great add-on to her cards. And she generally makes very little money at these shows. Very little. Somebody else is paying her booth fee so she can be there. I've never once, and I've seen her like 3 or 4 times, I've never once heard of her making a profit at a show. Okay? And bless her soul, she tries hard. So I was trying to help her. Genuinely help her. Okay? And I think that it's rather disgusting that my help can be misconstrued as an attempt to kidnap a female as a byproduct of her being a woman. And that a man can't offer a woman help without ulterior motives. And that a man can't offer somebody help without it being like a woe is you type situation. No, it's like, you want to make some more money? Let's go make some fucking money. Come on, let's go do it. You can't dominate the online selling space world but not be involved in it. You need to be open to new ideas, new ways of doing things, and learning constantly, which is what you want everyone else to do by listening to you, but you don't want to do the same. Join some other groups, expand your listening, see what other sellers are doing, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I joined other groups. They're garbage. They're absolute trash. The amount of misinformation that's getting passed around and then upvoted and people supporting it blows my mind. Oh yeah, you can list that to eBay, just don't get caught. Are you fucking kidding me? Don't list it to eBay if you're not allowed to list it to eBay. Teaching people how to, get illegal shipping labels. Don't do that, okay? Not smart. Incorrect ways of dealing with Vero complaints. Just some of the advice. It's so bad. And I can't look at it. I have a buddy on here, Jason Han, great guy. He's still in those other groups and he gets tangled up with these people. And it's emotionally draining when you see somebody like just trying to touch the damn stove. They're just like, they just want to touch it. And you're like, please don't touch the stove. Okay. It's like, it's going to fucking burn you. Listen to me. And they're like, no. Susie said it's all right. I can touch it. It's perfectly fine if I touch it. And I'm like, no. And you try and be cut and dry with them. You say, no, don't touch it. But for some reason, Susie has better pitched it. Or Susie has helped her believe that it is in her best interest to touch it. There's some individualistic gain for that person to do it. And then they go ahead and fucking do it. And you sit back and you're like, damn, I wish I could have helped that person. And then you do it again and again and again. So I left all the other groups because I couldn't be a part of it. And I don't watch other YouTube channels because a lot of them are really bad. I'll show you guys the list of the YouTube channels that I subscribe to here in the future. Amazing content creators from over 100 different categories. I love great YouTube videos. I have 0 resellers that I've subscribed to. Corey Barlow was the only last reseller I ever subscribed to. I loved Corey's videos. He had so much energy and enthusiasm, and he loved what he did, and he was like me. They're just some dude selling, trying to make a full-time gig of it and trying to share what he knew, and he wasn't trying to jam some nonsense down people's throats. He just learned things along the way and wanted to share it. Yeah. I heard from him on his last birthday. I hope he's doing well. And I don't know if he watches any more of my videos, but if you're out there, buddy, I really hope you're doing well. And the last thing is, I'm not here to dominate the online selling world. I'm here to make a living. I'm not here to dominate the YouTube space. And if I was, I sure as hell wouldn't be making reselling videos. This type of passion, energy, knowledge can really be applied to other things, and I could be making a heck of a lot of money. $10 per video even. Because if I can get 400 views doing this, I promise you I can make thousands of dollars doing other videos, which I will do other videos. And I will make money doing it, but it won't be my primary shtick. I've learned from you and hope you stay in the game, but take some time off just to chill, reevaluate what you're doing and selling, and hopefully you can continue forward. And I agree. Time off will be good for me. When it will come, I do not know. I do not know. Work just continues to find me, but we'll have to find out. Thomas left a really good response. Again, very verbose. Covers a lot of the things that I said. And that's where a lot of my words came from. But yeah, I recommend you go check out his response. It's very thoughtful. It's very intelligent. He's got away with his words unlike any other. And he's going to take the time to take a call from me next week, which I truly do appreciate. Yeah. Yep. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, make sure you guys got mentors. Make sure you got people that you can talk to. I have a in-life mentor, great guy. His name's Daryl. He's never watched one of my videos. He has no clue, like the video content that I make. And every time I start a new project, he'll look at it. He's like, "That's really neat." It's like, "That's neat." And he's very supportive. He's very bright. And, he taught me too. He's like, you don't leave California until you can make the same amount of money someplace else, which is very true. Very true. He's lived all over America and he knows what he's talking about. But I showed him my new venture, my new idea that I'm working on right now, which I've got thousands of pieces of inventory downstairs. I've got 16 cartons coming via boat right now from Zhejiang. I've got a DHL package coming tomorrow by 9 p.m. of more inventory. Yeah. I got a new venture. And he looked at it and he's like, "I think you're onto something, Jay," which is the strongest level of praise that I could ever ask for from him. That is his seal of approval. And I do think that with his decades of experience, he's 72 now. If he believes it with his ability, the money that he's generated over his lifetime, I'm onto something. So, yeah, guys, that's my additional 2 cents. I didn't want to have to record another video on this topic. This will be my last one. If you want to come talk with me about it, and you are the opposition, sure. But be prepared to defend every single point that I made on my first video. I have notes and I have receipts, and I will happily take you on. And if you're not prepared to do that, then do it in the comments. Leave a comment, point for point, okay? And cover some of the actual points that are impacting resellers, like the ones I talked about, because the reality is coming. And I think it was Jordan Peterson may have said this. Maybe not the first, but every majority opinion starts with a single person. It just takes one person to say it first, and then eventually it can become a majority opinion. I'm not saying that's going to be this, but there's a lot of laws and bills that people aren't even looking at that are going to devastate the reseller climate. Imagine, just if you think this is where it is now, just think about how much worse it could be in 5 years. And rather than waiting like another 10 years to make the pivot, consider making the pivot now. And especially if some of you are making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year doing reselling, start a new business with that money. Anything other than reselling, start a whole new business. Just whatever idea you've been thinking about doing, like, oh, if I get enough money, I'm going to do this someday. Or wouldn't it be neat or fun to try and do this? Go start any of them and give it a go. Give it a whirl. See if it works out for you. If it does, great. If it doesn't, then so what? Try again. Keep making reseller money and try again. I have a host of failed businesses behind me. This one has probably been my most successful one ever. But That doesn't mean I'm going to stay with it until the whole ship sinks. I'm going to get out now. I'm going to take my profits and I'm going to dip. My eBay store will never be gone, though. I'm going to constantly have items on there. It's going to take like years, probably 2 years minimum, for me to sell through everything I've got. I'm just going to keep reducing prices. And then I've got long-term holdings. You know, you guys have never seen inside this closet, okay? I have a closet over here. I don't even know how much of it I want to show. I don't even know how much of it I can show. You know, but I've got... I don't even know if I can pivot this right now. I'll show you a little snippet of it. Can I even get it over there? A little tiny snippet of it. There you go. You know, I've got long-term holdings in physical commodities and stuff that I know are going up in value over time every single month. Start investing into stuff with your money too. That's the other end of my business. You know, I consult with people within the collectibles market. If you're looking for some stuff to drop money into, drop me a line. If you're looking for some interesting stocks, I am heavily invested into CFVI, which is the company that is looking to acquire Rumble. This is I'm not a financial advisor for stocks. This is just something that I'm personally invested into. Maybe check that out. But that's it, guys. I'm just rambling at this point. I've enjoyed this one, I guess. It's not as fun as it should be. But I'll tell you what, I'll make you a promise. The next video will be a fun video. And if you have any suggestions for a video you would like to see me do, drop it in the comments down below. And if you're still a subscriber, thank you. And if you're first time here, welcome. I do all kinds of weird videos. And, oh, here's another thing, too. This is your last chance to request a training video from me on reselling. If there's any area that you feel like, man, I want to know what somebody who's been doing for 10 years, I want to know how they do this, or how they manage this part of their business, or what this part of their business looks like. This is it. This is your chance. I'm going to do a couple more videos on reselling, and I think that's going to be it. Because there's just not going to be a reason for me to do it anymore. My heart's not going to be in it. And as much as I love reselling, it's like I said, the market's changed. So, as always, guys, remember, if you don't make that money, someone else will. Have a great day.